What's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? This your boy 13th Disciple 13TH, aka the Young John the Baptist. You know what it is. Grab your Bible, grab your pad, grab your pen, grab your highlighter. We about to dive into this gospel and you about to get this work. It's time for another episode of Disciple Me. Let go. All right, y'all, let's get it. I want you to go to the book of Exodus, chapter 16, verse 1 through 10, and then we're going to go a little bit down to verse 12 through 15. Today's message is called Struggle Meals. All right, y'all, let's read. Then the whole community of Israel set out from Elim and journeyed into the wilderness of Sin, between Elim and Mount Sinai. They arrived there on the 15th day of the second month, 1 month after leaving the land of Egypt. There too, the whole community of Israel complained about Moses and Aaron. If only the Lord had killed us back in Egypt, they moaned. There we sat around pots filled with meat and ate all the bread we wanted. I want you to circle that part. There we sat around the pots filled with meat and ate all the bread we wanted. But now you have brought us into this wilderness to starve us all to death. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Look, I'm going to rain down food from heaven for you. Each day the people can go out and pick as much food as they need for that day. I will test them in this to see whether or not they will follow my instructions. On the 6th day, they will gather food, and when they prepare it, there will be twice as much as usual." So Moses and Aaron said to the people of Israel, "By evening, you will realize it was the Lord who brought you out of the land of Egypt. In the morning, you will see the glory of the Lord, because he has heard your complaints, which are against him, not against us. What have we done that you should complain about us?" Then Moses added, "The Lord will give you meat to eat in the evening and bread to satisfy you in the morning, for he has heard all your complaints against him. What have we done? Yes, your complaints are against the Lord, not against us." Then Moses said to Aaron, "Announce this to the entire community of Israel. Present yourselves before the Lord, for he has heard your complaining." And as Aaron spoke to the whole community of Israel, they looked out toward the Israelites' complaints. "Now tell them, in the evening you will have meat to eat, and in the morning you will have all the bread you want. Then you will know that I am the Lord your God." That evening, vast numbers of quail flew in and covered the camp. And the next morning, the area around the camp was wet with dew. When the dew evaporated, a flaky substance as fine as frost blanketed the ground. The Israelites were puzzled when they saw it. "What is this?" they asked each other. They had no idea what it was. And Moses told them, "It is the food the Lord has given you to eat." All right, y'all, so let's break this thing down. What you're seeing here is the children of Israel. They're in the in-between stage. They were once slaves. They were in bondage. They were in captivity in Egypt. And God raises up this prophet called Moses to lead them out of bondage into the promised land. And so what's happening now, they're in the in-between stage of what God spoke and the manifestation of what God spoke. And right now they're in the wilderness in this dry season, and they're like, "Bro, we hungry, bro. Like, you brought us out here and it's crazy, man. Like, we ain't eating good like we were back in Egypt. Back in Egypt, it was a Golden Corral buffet, man. We had meat, we had bread, we had a salad bar, we had everything, bro. And now you got us out here starving." And so God says, "You know what? I've heard their complaints, Moses. I'm gonna rain down some food called manna." But when they get the manna, they like, "Bro, what is this, cuz? Like, what is this, man? Like, we better off back where we were." And one of the things the enemy does when we're in that in-between stage of what God spoke to the manifestation of what God spoke, we get to this place of, dang, man, you know what? I'm better off back where I was, man. I might as well just go back to bondage. I might as well go back to slavery. It wasn't so bad. That relationship I was in that was toxic and abusive, it wasn't that bad. You know what? That lifestyle I was living before, it wasn't so bad. You know what? I'm struggling financially right now. Let me go back to the block and go sell some work. It wasn't that bad. No, the enemy's trying to get you to go backwards to try to kill you in that lifestyle that you were living before. Sometimes when we're going through the transitional phase of what God spoke to the manifestation of what he spoke, we have to get to the place that we remember what he spoke and not what we see. You must remember what you heard when you're going through a season when what you see doesn't look like what you heard. I'm gonna say it again. When you're going through a season when what you heard does not look like what you see, you have to remember what you heard so that way you're not discouraged. I can tell you a time when I was younger, y'all, when I moved out of my parents' house, I was eating ramen noodles, I was eating potatoes. It was a struggle, but I had to encourage myself. It's not always gonna be this way. It's not always gonna be this way. Right now, you might be taking a bus. It's not always gonna be this way. Right now, you may be in between jobs. It's not always gonna be this way. Right now, you're not in a relationship. It's not always gonna be this way. Sometimes you have to look in the mirror and you have to encourage yourself and say, I'm just on the in-between stage to where God is trying to take me. And I'm not gonna get discouraged. I'm gonna hold on to the promises of God on my life, and I'm not gonna give up in the wilderness. You will not die in the wilderness. You will not die in this dry season. Your blessing is on the way. God has some things for you that he's promised over your life that are gonna manifest soon. And the mere fact that you wanna go back and not move forward lets me know you're probably close. All right, y'all, I also want you to write down two scriptures. I want you to write down Genesis chapter 19, verse 1 through 29, and the book of Ruth, chapter 1. And Genesis chapter 19, verse 1 through 29, what you're seeing is God is getting ready to destroy the city of Sodom and Gomorrah. There's a lot of wickedness. There's a lot of things going on in that city that God wasn't cool with. And God says, look, bro, I'm getting ready to destroy this land. And what you'll see is God sends two angels to come and tell Lot to get out of the city and to run and don't look back because he was getting ready to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. I want to encourage you in this season, don't look back. Don't look back. I know it's hard on your Christian walk right now, and you're like, you know what? I ain't got no friends. You know what? I'm bored. I ain't having fun no more. Don't look back. Don't go back. Don't go back. Don't go back. Don't let the enemy lie to you and go back. I can tell you plenty of times when I was in my early 20s, I felt like I was missing out. I felt like everybody else was having fun. Everybody else was partying. Everybody else was turning up. But I'm telling you, y'all, don't go back. Don't go back. And when you look at the book of Ruth, chapter 1, what you're seeing is when you go and take the time to read that, Ruth, Naomi, and her sister Orpah, not to be confused with Oprah, but Orpah. They were leaving where they were to go to the land of Judah because where they were was a famine. All their husbands died. So there was nothing there for them to stay for. So they left, and as they left halfway through, Orpah says, you know what? I'm going back. But what she was going back to was death. What she was going back to was a famine. What she was going back to, there was no life there. And right now, you're like, you know what? I'm going back to that dead place because the enemy's lying to you. I'm gonna go back to what I used to do. I'm gonna go back to this go party, go turn up, go have a good time. Don't let the enemy lie. You're close. Listen to me. You're close. You're close. You're close. You're close. You're close. You're so close that I can smell it through this camera. You're so close. I can literally taste it for you, that you're so close to what God has been speaking to you about for years. You're so close. Don't give up. Don't give up. Don't go back in this season, y'all. Don't go back. All right, y'all, we're gonna wrap this thing up. I wanna leave you with one bonus verse. Proverbs chapter 14, verse 14, New Living Translation. All right, y'all, let's read. It says, backsliders get what they deserve. Good people receive their reward. What you're seeing here is the Bible is telling us when you backslide, somebody else gonna get what was for you. So I want you to imagine you're sitting in a line and there's a reward at the end of the line. And when you get out of line, somebody else is behind you and they're about to receive what was for you. And the reason why they're receiving what was for you is because you chose to get out of line and go back. I want to encourage you, stay in line, stay in position. Don't let somebody else get what was for you. You're close. Do not give up. Don't go back. No matter how hard it is, don't go back. Don't go back. It's going to be worth it to hear those words. Well done, my good and faithful servant. All right, y'all, this your boy 13th Disciple 13TH, aka the Young John the Baptist. Till next time, go make disciples. Let go.